In this video, we're going to take a look at a really neat technique called sidechain compression. And what we're going to do is compress a bass guitar signal so that a kick drum can come through a little bit stronger. Now, normally when you put a compressor on something, it's going to compress that something based on whatever that something is doing. But in this scenario, we're going to compress the bass based on what the kick is doing. So I'll show you how that works, and that's what sidechaining is. So if I put a compressor on this bass guitar, I'm just going to do it like a standard compression to start with. I'm going to use this FET electric bass. And here's what the bass guitar sounds like by itself with just this default setting on it. If I can start to compress it with the ratio here or with the thresholds here, it's just a very light compression on it. And you can see it's compressing based on the bass guitar itself. Okay, so that's all well and good. I'm just going to bypass that for now. So now I'm going to put another compressor on it. But this one, instead of compressing the bass guitar by a function of itself, I'm going to use sidechain compression. And this will compress the bass guitar by a function of some other track. In this case, we're going to choose the kick audio, which is a little bit outside of the capture view, but it's right up here. I'm going to click on that, and you can see it's selected to the kick track, which is right here. So whatever happens on this kick track, the compressor engages based on that. But it doesn't compress the kick, it compresses the bass guitar, because remember, it's on the bass guitar track. You can even see the little arrow pointing to the left there. That tells you that this compressor is sidechain. So this compressor is not being affected based on the track it's on. It's being affected by some other track, which we can see here. So let's go ahead and start playing. Now the track that's affecting this is actually muted, and it still works. That's just a basic kick. It's doing this. You can see whenever the kick hits, it's compressing, but it's not compressing the kick, it's compressing the bass guitar. And you might be able to hear that. Whenever the kick hits, the bass guitar is turned down. This needle going up represents the amount of gain reduction that is happening on the bass guitar. I'm going to make the release a little bit faster so that needle falls back quicker. And I didn't even choose a preset on this. I'm just kind of using whatever is the default just to show this. But there's lots of different presets that can work better for this. The more ratio I have, the more gain reduction. Therefore, the more that the bass is going to be turned down when the kick hits. If I change the threshold, we're going to get even more. And the bass will actually turn up. You can really hear that now. So that's a nice little trick. I can put my original compressor back on if I want. And you can play with this all day to get exactly the amount of compression you want on the thing that you want to be ducked. That's what we call it. We're ducking the bass guitar underneath the kick drum. This is very common in dance music, but you can use it in just about any music. If you think that you want the kick to come through a little bit stronger, it's a nice little trick. It works really well for this because if you listen to the bass, it's hitting exactly when the kick is hitting, but then it has its own little thing in between the two kick hits. Right there. So in between the two kick hits, we want that little do-do-doon part to be nice and strong. But when the kick hits, we want to make sure the kick is coming through. So it's a nice little trick. Sidechain compression. Look for it right in the top right corner of the compressor in Logic, and then choose which channel that you want to influence the compressor, and the compressor will influence whatever channel you put it on. Give sidechain compression a shot, and hope you enjoy it.